The team is really good 1 through 53. I believe Michael Parsons can lead Dallas to the Super Bowl. The first step towards greatness has been consistently good. I believe this Cowboys team is a different team because we have not seen the Cowboys be consistently good up until these last 24 months, if you will. We've been talking about the Dallas Cowboys this entire offseason and how they've had back-to-back 12-win seasons, and that their window of opportunity to go win a Super Bowl is now. I myself have made multiple videos talking about how good of an offseason they've had and all the additions they've made. We finally got to see some of those additions yesterday in their first preseason game. The game overall was a positive, in my opinion, outside of just a few plays that can definitely be fixed. So, in this video, I want to take a look at how some of the players that were on our team last year played, and also how a lot of our rookies played. Obviously, we didn't get to see any of the big-time additions like Brandon Cooks or Stephon Gilmore play, which is perfectly fine with all Cowboys fans because number one, we already know what they're capable of, and number two, we don't want to risk any of them getting injured. So, let's go ahead and talk about the guys that did play. The first guy that I gotta talk about, who everyone thought was a steal at the time of the draft, but now it's proven that the 6th round was way too late for this guy after how he played last night. Obviously, the guy I'm talking about is Deuce Vaughn out of Kansas State. I mean, the only reason he fell was due to size concerns, but he showed yesterday that that does not matter one bit. He looked exactly like I expected, small and super quick. He was in and out of holes before anyone could touch him, and he might not break a ton of tackles, but it doesn't matter when nobody can even touch you. He finished the game with 50 rushing yards on just 8 carries, with a long of 26 yards for a touchdown. Now, that rushing ability is great. But the one thing that a lot of people are overlooking, in my opinion, was his receiving. I know he only ended up with 6 yards receiving, but I want to talk about a specific play where he ran what you call an angle or a Texas route out of the backfield. He was one-on-one with a linebacker, and he absolutely toasted him for about a 7-yard gain on 3rd and 3. This was so important to me because, in all honesty, that's where he's going to help us out the most. Having a running back that can run routes out of the backfield or be motioned out of the slot to win one-on-ones is a huge asset. It allows the play caller to be a lot more creative, and it gives your quarterback another guy he can trust to throw the ball to. A great example of this is Christian McCaffrey. I'm not saying Deuce is as good as CMC, but I am saying he could be used in a similar fashion. Overall, though, Deuce Vaughn did play great, but our other running backs did not as much. Malik Davis did just about nothing in the rushing game, going for only 3 yards on 4 attempts, which I know is a small sample size, but I'd like to see better. He just didn't look like he was finding the holes very well, but he did have 19 receiving yards, which makes his day look a little bit better. And then the last running back that I want to touch on is Rico Dowdle. Dowdle played really good, in my opinion, and I liked everything that I saw from him outside of the stupid fumble. On the fumble play, he made a great play making 1 or 2 guys miss, and then almost scored a 20-plus yard touchdown, but instead he fumbled right before he got to the goal line. I'm still pretty high on Dowdle as a backup to Tony Pollard, but we cannot turn the ball over like that, especially not inside the 5-yard line. Now moving on from our running backs, let's talk about what our receivers did. The first guy we gotta talk about is that man, Jalen Tolbert. He finished the game with 2 receptions for 29 yards and a touchdown, but it easily could have been more if his crazy catch wouldn't have been called back. It was called back for a dumb offensive pass interference call that I saw no signs of on the play. But I'm honestly just super happy to see him developing into what we drafted him to be. He didn't live up to expectations last season, which hurt us big time because we desperately needed some more explosiveness at the receiver position. And he was supposed to be that guy to fill the receiver 3 spot. Obviously, he wasn't able to do that, But this entire offseason, throughout training camp, all I've heard was good things about him, and